The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier.
What's up, everyone? Jackson Riley here, and we need to talk about something that's been bubbling under the surface of the Indiana Fever locker room for months, something that finally got confirmed in the most unexpected way possible. You know how sometimes the truth slips out when people think they're just making casual conversation? Well, Sophie Cunningham just did exactly that. And what she revealed about the veteran dynamics around Caitlin Clark isn't just tea. It's a full confession about a coordinated effort that's been hiding in plain sight. If you're here because you want the real story behind the Clark drama, not the sanitized PR version, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into what Cunningham actually admitted. But first, let me set the stage here. For months, we've been watching this strange dynamic play out in Indiana. Caitlin Clark, the most electric player to enter the WNBA in years, constantly finding herself isolated on offense. Veterans who should be feeding off her gravity, instead creating their own little worlds. Possessions that should flow through the league's most dynamic playmaker, instead grinding to a halt. We've seen the body language, we've watched the misconnections, we've witnessed the uncomfortable post-game interviews where everyone talks about building chemistry, while the on-court product looks like 5 people playing 5 different games, and now we know why. Sophie Cunningham, in what she probably thought was just a throwaway comment during a recent interview, dropped this bombshell. Everyone kind of has their own islands in the locker room. Now on the surface, that might sound like typical team chemistry speak. Players having their own space, their own routines, their own friend groups. Normal stuff, right? But when you dig deeper into what Cunningham was really describing, when you connect it to everything we've been observing, a much more troubling picture emerges. Okay, now let's get into rumor territory. Nothing is officially confirmed, but the online chatter is too loud to ignore, and the pattern of behavior is too consistent to dismiss. When Cunningham talks about islands, she's not describing healthy individual space. She's describing intentional separation, calculated distance. Veterans who have collectively decided that the best way to handle Caitlin Clark isn't to embrace her impact, it's to contain it. The temperature of the online conversation suggests that Kelsey Mitchell might be at the center of this veteran resistance. And here's where things get interesting. This isn't just about basketball philosophy or playing time. This is about power, influence, and who gets to control the narrative around this. Let me break down what we're really looking at here. You've got a group of veterans who spent years building their own little ecosystem within the Fever organization. They had their roles, their hierarchies, their understanding of how things work. Then Caitlin Clark walks in, and suddenly, none of those carefully constructed dynamics matter anymore. The media attention shifts, the endorsement opportunities multiply, but not for them. The fan energy explodes, but it's not directed at them. The franchise's entire future gets rewritten around someone who hasn't paid her dues in their traditional sense. So what do? They create islands. Island number 1, Kelsey Mitchell and her inner circle, players who've been with the organization for years, who remember when Mitchell was the undisputed alpha scorer, when the offense ran through her isolation plays and contested fadeaways. These are the veterans who watch Clark drain threes from the logo and think, that's not how we do things. Island number 2, the players caught in the middle, veterans who aren't necessarily against Clark, but who also don't want to rock the boat with their established teammates. They're the ones creating uncomfortable body language, the hesitant passes, the plays that could develop into something beautiful, but instead fizzle out into nothing. And then there's Clark, essentially on her own island,